So I think we're going to make this the first official podcast episode for the Vitality Meal. We're going to put on all platforms, Spotify, Apple Music, all that good stuff. We're calling it Inside the Meal. So this is Inside the Meal podcast. This is Josh was our champ here from the Revive and Thrive Challenge. He's our guy that won it. And for 12 weeks, just put in a lot of hard work. And cool piece of it, it was a guy that wasn't a member of the gym already. So we had a lot of people that were already members of the gym that joined the challenge. And Josh was one of the few that came into the challenge just outside the gym. And so he came in here and took the win, man. So kicking this off, let's take it all the way back to the beginning. So what made you decide to sign up for the Revive and Thrive Challenge?
Probably just being stuck in that circle for the last 20 years of kicking it off at my house, working out, trying to eat right, no accountability about myself. And I was looking for a gym, looking for what I found here. At the time I didn't know it. I was just trying to see what was out there. Finally pulled the trigger and got signed up, and it was right what I wanted. I had the accountability from your team and the structure that I needed to keep it going.
That's awesome, bro. So what I'm kind of hearing is like you have tried this route before. Where you signed up for a gym,
the gym
wise, trying to figure out just how to best take care of your body.
Yeah. Looking at everything I could find on the internet to try to give me that structure that I was lacking. That was a big reason why I signed up for here, was I could have that structure.
Awesome.
And and the accountability.
Yeah.
What were some of the things that you did on your own that you thought were like, this is the way that I'm supposed to like lose weight or get in shape and get in better shape, that when you came here you kind of realized like, oh man, I didn't have to do it that hard.
Man, I would sign up for, different apps, workout apps, whatever they may be, and watch YouTube videos. And there's so many different opinions on how somebody should structure their workouts and their diet. It's overwhelming. When I came here, it was very simple. Here's your workout. We got it built for you. You're going to come in. I do the drop-ins and, get the leadership or mentorship through the workout. And the diet plan was very simple. It's here's how much you need to eat, and there's some flexibility in there.
Yeah. That's awesome, man. I think that, me and Seth, we've, been fine tuning the system for a while. He has for, years and years. And I think that's something we really take pride in, is there's so much noise outside of here. Yeah. And so that's what we want to do. You guys have, work, you guys have family, you guys got lives outside of here. This is our life. So let the professionals be the professionals. And we try to take all the thinking out of it for you guys and just to create an environment for you to show up to. And then as long as you follow everything, and that's exactly what you did. The people that are most successful in our program, they just follow everything the way it's laid out. Yeah. And then results just start to follow.
That was a huge relief for me as we were going through the process. I think I was 2 months in, still watching the scale, and the scale wasn't moving as much as I thought it would.
Yeah.
But I was like, all right, we're just going to trust the process. And then I did the DEXA scan at the end of the 3 months, and I was blown away with what I had lost.
What you said right there is trust the process. So I get guys that will hit me up on a daily basis and ask me questions, and they'll say like, hey man, what should I do here? How should I do this? And I will give them like the complete, simplified, this is the way to do it. And then they'll go and find their own way to do it. They'll do it. They'll go, well, I'll just do this instead. Yeah. And like what you did is like you said, you just came in and trust the process of like, hey, you know what? The scale's not moving, but these guys, I trust them. But bro, how long were you on like my email list just watching?
Probably 6 months to a year before I actually pulled the trigger and signed up. Yeah. At least a year.
Yeah. And so once you came in, you automatically knew that like, okay, well, these guys obviously have something working, and as far as that. So it's just like, can be like, hey, let me submit to the process and just follow what they tell me to do.
I've done my process for 20 years. It didn't work. So it's like, I'll give you guys a chance. Here's 3 months. And my results, I was blown away.
Bro, that's what's so crazy about it, is we have people that come into our program all the time, and they'll tell us, no, I'm going to eat this way. I'm going to do this. I'm like, guys, you're here for our guidance. And that's what's nice about having that guidance, is because while you were looking at the scale, because that's everything we always hear, is if that scale's not moving, we're not going in the right direction.
Yeah.
But with you saw with your DEXA scan, the amount of muscle you put on, the amount of fat that you lost. And so with that, like, there's a lot of good things that are happening when it's not just on the scale. But humans want that instant gratification.
Yes.
And so if they don't see the progress, then they immediately start to pivot. And then you just have to trust the process, because we pivot too fast.
We do.
And we never even gave the process time to work.
Tell him the results that he got through the DEXA scan and stuff.
Yeah, man. I mean, you packed on, was it 9 pounds of muscle?
9 pounds of muscle.
And then double digits.
15 pounds fat drop.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Insane. Like, to the point where, I don't even know if I told you this. I might have. But Sam, our DEXA scan guy, he was like, "Hey, bro, did Josh get on something?" Like, he's like, "What?"
That's how we do it.
Yeah. I'm like, "No, dude. Like, he's taking creatine, got him taking that, and then you got him a whey protein, fish oil."
Yeah, fish oil. I took berberine, but that was for the blood sugars. And vitamin D.
Yeah.
That was the only thing I was taking.
Yeah. And you're not even on testosterone or anything.
No,
right?
not on testosterone.
Crazy.
Nothing else.
Yeah.
How old are you?
40.
Yeah.
Yep, 40. I'll be 41 next month, actually. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was it. That's all the supplements I've been taking.
Yeah. Before you joined the program, were you doing anything, I would say, within that 6 months or even year span coming into working with us? Were you doing anything beforehand?
I was on the backside of working out again. You know, usually it starts off January, February, whatever, kind of strong, and then it tapers off as you go, because I don't see the scale moving. I'm dieting like crazy.
Yeah.
The scale's not moving. I'm doing, probably the same exercises at home, with the, I had dumbbells at the house. I had the Marcy home gym at the house, but I just wasn't getting the results. And so it would taper off after 3-4 months.
And that's ultimately what probably led to burnout, right?
Yeah.
Once you stop seeing results. That's why it's cool to have a coach to help you make those pivots, whether it be with your nutrition, whether it be with your training, to help you push through those plateaus.
What were you following nutrition wise before you came? So, like, no workouts and stuff. You looked up stuff. What were you trying to do on nutrition?
And so when I first, probably like the 6 months before I came here, really nothing. I mean, it was whatever, everything was on the table for nutrition wise. Prior to that, when I would go through, I just always tried to focus either on high protein. I did a vegan diet at one time, tried that as well. Had good results with it, but it wasn't sustainable. And then I would crash, and there's my cheat day, and then my cheat day become every cheat day. So
yeah, man. So, I mean, talking about that, let's go into the work side of things. As far as putting all the work in through the program, this wasn't just an easy 12 weeks for you. Like, I remember there was some times where I had to get into the community and be like, guys, we started off hot, but then like week 4, week 5 rolls around. I'm like, you guys aren't doing the weekly challenges anymore. You guys aren't getting active in the community as much anymore. And you were one of the first guys that responded to that message wherever I was calling you guys out. And so what was the hardest part of the challenge for you?
Just getting started. It was the 6 months or 12 months on the email list. And that was the hardest part, was getting signed up, getting started, because I didn't know what to expect. I didn't know what I was going to do on day one, who I was going to talk to. That was pretty difficult. But once I got past that, got in the gym within 5 seconds, I mean, that was alleviated. The hardest part going through the program, gosh, I don't know, leg day? No.
Hey, true that. Well, I guess we can kind of branch off and talk about like what allowed you to stay locked in on those days that were tough, to maybe get up in the morning, or maybe like it's that drive to the gym where it's like, do I really want to go? Like, what allowed you to keep pushing through that?
There was a lot of days like that it was like, man, it would be so easy to make an excuse, go home, watch some YouTube, whatever. But I just felt like I was accountable, I guess you could say, to not only the gym, what you guys were doing for me, but my family as well. I need to set a better example for my wife and kids, and that's what really drove it home.
Yeah, so give us some of the wins, because we know there was a lot of it. What were some of the wins that you've been able to maintain that when you first started noticing some changes in your life? And
well, definitely a healthier lifestyle. You know, I'm able to move around a lot better than what I was 6 months ago. I don't get winded going up and down the stairs. That's a huge drive. I've got more drive to play with the kids, sports outside.
How many kids you got?
Involved. Four. I got 4 kids at the house, 7 to 11 are their ages.
And they're watching.
Yeah,
That's the other thing too, is they're watching, seeing what dad does.
If they see me sitting down watching YouTube all day, all they think they have to do is sit down and play video games all day. So yeah, it's like we're going in the wrong direction here. Need to.
Well, a few weeks into it, let's talk about those. Because I remember it's probably about 3 or 4 weeks into it, and you started telling me about the family walks that you guys would go on after dinner.
Yes.
And so, like, just incorporating those habits, and being that influence that you had on your kids to go out there and go walk with you, because it probably started out with maybe just you and your wife, and then your kids are like, well, I don't want to be at the house by myself.
Yeah, it started off, you know, after dinners I would go walk, or lunch. You know, I'd come home for lunch at work and do my walks, and then after dinners we would get my wife and the kids, and there we go, just get that 15-20 minute walk, sometimes a full hour. And the impacts just those walks have, I mean, it's great. So
what are some routines that like you adopted as you started to like the walks obviously was a routine right after food. What were some other routines that maybe you didn't do in the past that you started to inevitably just step into every day?
I mean, would you call it mindset, or mindfulness? Just taking 15-20 minutes of quiet time, you know, not all at once, maybe 5 minutes in the truck before I head to work, just to focus on me and what I've done, what I've accomplished, and what I'm going to do for the day. Just taking that time to really think.
Well, that time, what a lot of people don't know is what that time does is it creates space for us.
Yeah.
And so oftentimes we're living in this society where people are reactive. Somebody cuts you off and we're flipping them off or whatever it may be. Yeah. And we're taking that time just to shut up for a little bit and be quiet and just be alone with your thoughts. There's so many people that don't do that.
Yeah.
And what that does is that creates space. So now that we're not so reactive, so when something happens, we don't just react and say something or eat something or do something that's not aligned with who we want to be. When we create that space, it lets us be able to, before we take that action, it gets that little bit of space in between so we can go, that's not who I am. That's not how I want to act. That's not how I want to behave. And then we can make moves forward as far as that goes.
It's funny you say driving, because that's one thing I have noticed is more patience, especially here in Yukon, where with Garth Brooks Boulevard being as busy as it is. You know, you just gotta, you know, realize you don't have to be aggressive to get somewhere. You know, I mean, just slow down a little bit.
Yeah,
I think a lot of that comes from you showing up for yourself and you starting to build confidence in yourself. Because sometimes if there's things that we know we need to do, we know that we probably shouldn't eat this. We know that we probably shouldn't stay up this late. We know we shouldn't watch this. There's a lot of things that we know we shouldn't do. But when we do those, we lose confidence in ourselves.
Yeah.
And so I think that's whenever we want to yell at people on the road. That's when we want to lash out and not have any patience for our kids or for our wife. It's all an indication of we're not keeping truths to ourselves. And that makes it easier to lash out. But once you got into this program, not only did it show you that you could be diligent in working out, but it showed you all these other things that you could have diligence in your life. And that created confidence, and that just started to lead to patience.
Yeah.
It made you a new person. You know what I mean?
Definitely.
Coming into the Vitality, man, now that you've been with us for over 3 months now, what makes this, me and you kind of talked about it, you know, with the Planet Fitness, and I don't want to name drop a whole bunch of places, but from all those other gyms, what makes the Vitality Mill community different, and what allowed that to set you up for more success?
You know,
in term?
I've been to like the Planet Fitness and the Gold's Gym, and you know, of course I don't want to name drop, but anyways, what makes this one different is the Christian background. I do like that we all have the same goals and the same, what am I trying to say?
Focus.
Yeah, same focus.
Just beliefs and morals.
Everybody's willing to help each other out. I've met a lot of great people since I've come here, and it's been good.
I think that's, for like what you just said right there, was like I think one of the things that separates us is like, obviously having and working with Christian more, and in me as well. You don't get to see me as much as maybe, but you start to, and Isaac, and you start to get around individuals that care about your results just as much as you do. And what happens is you don't want to, we'll let ourselves down when nobody else is watching.
Yeah.
But when you know that you have somebody that cares about your results, is going to ask you what your results have been and where you are, then you start to care more about like, hey, I don't want to let them down as just as much as you don't want to let yourself down. Kind of.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, man. And so I think this is where a lot of people go wrong is, let's talk about beyond the challenge. A lot of people, they'll set themselves a goal.
Yeah. And
then once they hit that goal, they're at the peak. All right, I made it. I can take my foot off the gas. I can start to fall back into all those habits that I did before. But beyond this challenge for you, what's next for you this time around, going through that process, rather than what's the more sustainable route is what I'm trying to say.
So I don't want this to be another 3 to 6 month phase. I've done that, for 20 years. This is a lifestyle change for me. I'm not going to get back in that slump. I'm not going to allow myself to get back into that slump, especially with my age where I'm at. It's only downhill from here. High blood pressure, heart problems, that's just going to compound if I don't maintain what I'm doing. I'd love to have and see grandkids and be able to be active with them. So that's my goal set. That's my mindset now. This is not a phase. This is not a short-term goal. This is a lifestyle change that I'm going to pursue.
It's identity. And so like when you start to change your identity, because I'm sure there was times in the workouts or that you showed up that you thought like, man, this is going to suck. Mm-hmm. And then you're able to get through it and you're able to be like, oh, I'm changing. And then once we start to change our identity and the way that we view and the way we see ourselves, it starts to change our results long term, because like you just said, it's like, I'm not ever going to go back to that guy. And so what has to happen is it's like, we've got to kill that old version off. We got to change that identity to a new identity. So when we start to slip back into our old ways and we start to eat like crap on the weekends and skip the workouts and stuff, you can like remember like, oh, that's not who I am. I am this guy who stays in shape and all year round and goes from there as far as that stuff. So that's a huge piece of it, is that identity. Once we change that identity, then we can start to change our results long term. But a lot of time people don't ever change that identity. They get through that challenge and they're like, I won. Good. And then what happens is we climb to that peak. And once you get to the peak, majority of people climb to the peak of the mountain and go like, all right, it's over with. All right, back to where we were at. And then they fall. But what happens is they don't fall to their original state that they were in when they started. They fall even further because now they understand what they're actually capable of and what they can accomplish. And so now it's like, oh, well, I can't go back down there, because if I go down there, it's going to be even worse off, because now we got to climb back up that peak. And not only do we have to get the results that we already got in the past, we got to probably get more results, because there's no telling how many people dwell in that pit that they're in.
And having those wins, doing the things that are hard. We were talking about this the other day, like leg day. I didn't want to show up for leg day, but you force yourself to get through that leg day and then feel amazing afterwards, because it's like, man, I did something that was hard that I didn't want to do, and it bettered me. And and then
when life hits you upside the head with a problem or issues like that, it's not something that you go like, oh, well, I just need to avoid this problem. It's like, no, it's just kind of like a leg day. It's like, I got to step into this. I got to go through the pain, go through the problem, so I can be able to get the result on the other side of it. And there's so many people, especially with individuals over 40, there's so many stories that they're telling themselves of, I'm already too far out of shape. I've already got too many injuries. I've tried the no carb. I've tried to do it this way and it hadn't worked. That they never get the results that they wanted, because they're so focused on all the negative stuff that's not working, instead of focusing on like, hey, I could go for a walk after my dinner. Hey, I could not eat that whole pizza, just eat a couple pieces of the pizza or whatever it may be from there.
Going through the program. I mean, I probably could have gotten even better results than what I did if I would have followed the meal plan to a T, which I didn't. I still had I still had a cookie a day, or the weekend, had hot dogs with bread or whatever it was.
Bro, and I don't mean to cut you off, but what's so cool about that is it shows that you don't have to be perfect.
No.
And that's what a lot of people, they see the list that's laid out.
Yeah.
Once they failed one thing on that, whether it be putting bread on something, which we allow, you guys to have certain stuff like that. But say if you deprive yourself of all those things that you actually do enjoy, then how can you expect to stick to it long term? And so it just shows that even, you're going to have mess ups, you're going to have falls, but you can still get unbelievable results. And sustainable results like what you've gotten.
You don't need a cheat day every day, all day. If you had the couple of cookies on Friday, whatever, it's not going to destroy everything you've made.
Absolutely.
So.
And with good nutrition too, you start to see how it makes you feel. Like whether it be before a workout, oh, I'm not going to eat this. I'm probably going to eat this because I need the energy on this workout. Or you don't want to feel like crap because you start to, sometimes when you just eat crap, you just feel like crap, but you think crap's normal.
Yeah.
It's not. It's once you start to put better things into your body, you start to realize, wow, food is actually like fuel.
Yeah.
And I'm putting diesel in my sports car when I need to be putting that premium stuff in there. So
so let's go let's do a little rapid fire questioning. What was your like go-to meal? Your favorite, like not necessarily like a cheat meal, but just your favorite like healthy go-to meal?
So simple, but breakfast. I would make eggs, Ezekiel bread toast with a little bit of honey on it, and then typically like avocado or some fruit or something like that.
And you look forward to that, having that.
It's every day. I love it. It's great.
See, that's the thing is like we're creature of habit. So the thing is, if we can figure out morning and lunchtime and stay consistent on that, stay consistent on not snacking and having protein shakes in between, going for walks afterwards, and then changing up the dinner to where it's like now you're getting kind of some different varieties of that goes. That's the where most people win is. It's like just falling into that creature of habit and finding those two meals. And then you can interchange and change up those meals, make it a burger bowl, make it a steak and potato, whatever it is you want from there. What's your favorite muscle group to train?
Oh man. Not legs. That's definitely the worst. Probably biceps, the curls and stuff. Yeah. It's always a good day. Always a good day coming in.
No doubt about it. If you had to pick just one word to describe your 12-week transformation and all the progress you made, what would that one word be? It's tough.
Winning.
Exciting comes up just because I knew I was working towards something. That would be it.
Awesome. Awesome. I know we play a lot of, and we're coaching you guys, so you're not always, putting your headphones in while you're working out. But say like, what would be your go-to music? It could be favorite song or even a genre that you would like to work out to.
Well, the genre is pretty good that we have here. But yeah, when I worked out at the house, usually it was just Amazon Music, and it would be like a workout mix, usually rock, alternative, something like that.
Yeah, that's probably the hardest thing we do is trying to make everybody happy.
We have so much.
We got worship music to rap music to rock music to country music.
I worked out here one time to Jitterbug, and I was like, what?
Yeah, we got a little Richard on there, so we got all kinds of stuff. Are you a morning or evening workout? If you could choose, which one would it be?
I would rather be a morning workout person so I can get it done and over with. But I've tried that, and for whatever reason, it doesn't work for me. I'm a 3 p.m. to 6 p.m. Workout person.
Yeah, and a lot of people, I think that's huge right there. Like you want to do it in the morning, but you thrived for those 12 weeks. I only saw you in the morning once or twice, bro. Like you showed up, and that's another thing is consistency. Yeah. You weren't flipping a coin. When am I going to go to the gym?
Yeah,
it was. I knew Josh is about to pull up here in a minute. I'm gonna go get the weights set up. I'm gonna go get everything ready for him.
It's part of that.
There was times in there that it was because like that 3:30 time's kind of a slower time. So it's like you and Chris.
Yeah,
I remember they're in there grunting and going against each other. It's kind of a deal. And I was like, man, if we didn't know what was going on in here, I'd be got worried. But no, it was you're right. It's that consistency of like hey, you know what? I would like to work out in the morning, but
Yeah.
you didn't let that stop you
No.
from like, hey, well, I can't work out in the morning, so I'm just not going to work out.
Yeah.
You made it happen, especially like it's not feasible for a lot of people, even like at right in the middle of the day like that, to stop everything, because you're like running. I mean, you're successful in your career that you're in and things like that. And I heard people calling you and asking you, hey, what do we got to do here and this and that, and you were able to still be able to facilitate all that, still get results.
Yeah, still get through it. It was I would love to be a morning person to work out, but no, it's 3:30 works great for me.
Josh, to help somebody out that may have, never tried a challenge in our gym, somebody from the outside, even somebody that's even a current member that hasn't, went all in on the program, for somebody thinking about doing a challenge, what would you tell them?
Just pull the trigger. That's the hardest part, is just get started. As soon as you get in here, within 5 seconds, you know what you're doing. You've got the program, you've got the support you need. So that's the biggest thing is you're on the email list, you're watching the videos, just the same as I did. It's not going to change if you don't change.
Is there something that when you're watching the videos, you're watching the emails, you're seeing all the stuff, like you said, 6 months to a year, is there some type of story that you're telling yourself that, like, I know, for example, I talked to a lady yesterday and she's like, I see the ads for 2 or 3 years and I always thought this has to be a scam. It's got to be a scam. And she's like, then I saw the before and after picture of Lisa Ross and she's like, that's the same lady. And then she was like, so now I'm just throwing my hands up. It's like, I've got to do this now. Yeah. Was there something that like was just stopping you or fighting you from taking that action, or what you were telling yourself or story wise?
I think it was, accountability, I guess. It was just watching or seeing your emails and applying that to my life. And it was like, man, okay, it's like you're calling me out almost.
For sure.
I knew I needed to make that change, and I hadn't done it yet. So, that was the biggest thing for me, was just felt bad about myself, I guess you could say.
Yeah.
That was probably it for me.
There's ninja stuff over there.
All right. Seth, is there anything that you want to add in before we close out?
I think other than Josh took a risk. I remember like it was yesterday. He emailed in the day of us doing the DEXA scan, I think.
Yeah.
And he emailed me. I got on a call with him. He came in. It wasn't, it's something he'd watched for a while. He took action, and something we didn't talk about was like he invested that in first investment, but then on top of that, he won $500 for doing the program. So then he's going to be with us another 6 months, and then he deducted that. So he's getting some personal training guidance, just because he took action, and like he didn't know what was on the other side. So I just think back at like what would have happened 4 or 5 months ago if you would have been in your same position and you never took action in that side of it. So like, props to you for just raising your hand, because that's the scary side for a lot of people is they're afraid they're going to lose money. Yeah. They're afraid they're going to let themselves down. They're afraid they're not going to see results, and there's going to be something that they beat themselves up over. And just to struggle for 20 years of trying to do it on your own, and then going like, hey, you know what? I'm going to submit and say that I don't know how to do this. Just that this speaks a testament to you, because there's a lot of men, dude, that will they'll stay in their own way, and they'll fight that ego, and they won't release that grip. So I just give props to you. Give props to Christian and Isaac. I'd love to say that I had a big piece of it, but these guys do the work and you do the work. And so I appreciate you guys and showing up, and just grateful to be a part of it.
Yeah. I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for the leadership. You guys have done an amazing job. The app, accountability, the programs. It's great. Yeah,
Josh, I want to touch on that too, man. Like, I appreciate just the relationship that we built within that 12 weeks. Like, it makes me, this is why I love the Vitality Mill, because we've created a community where I love everyone within it. And it's so like everyone's able to feed off everyone's energy. And I got the best, call it job. It doesn't feel like a job to me, but I got the best job in the world, because I'm able to show up and basically hang out with you guys and just point you in the right direction on things that have changed my life. Yeah. And then it makes it easier to coach it because I've seen what it's done for me, what it's done for guys like you. And so I think just this short, 30-minute, 40-minute interview, whatever it was, I think us just touching on all this, like I appreciate you coming and doing it, man, because it's going to help change somebody's life that's listening to this. So I'm grateful for you, man. And I'm looking forward to keep working with you, bro.
Definitely. Same. Yes.
Cool, man. Well, I think we can close it out from there.
Yeah, wrap it up. So if you're like Josh, you're sitting on the sidelines and you're wondering if this is a program for you, just like Josh, we offer a front end offer. And that front end offer is to give you the opportunity to come in and have some leverage to follow through. And that's what a lot of people miss, is they don't have that leverage point of saying, hey, I can win some money back, or I can get my program for free if I move forward, or whatever it may be. And we're offering that to you. So take action on anything that you see, and be like Josh and be a winner and show up, and the results will. I mean, it's nothing's crazy. Like, we didn't do anything special. He's the same that happens to everybody that steps in, that are really taking their life and their health serious. If they just follow the plan with the accountability and with individuals that care, we're going to see results. And it's not something that we think may happen. It's science by now, because we've been doing it for almost 20 years. So appreciate Josh, appreciate Christian and the great talk. And then we'll see you guys on the other side.